moss. It grows in the cracks and the shadows of your environment. Here in the Pacific Northwest, it grows everywhere. But what very few people know is that some moss species here are extremely rare. So rare that their very locations are clues to colossal events in natural history. They're known as relics, and only a few experts know how to find them. Miles Berkey is one such expert.
This thing's called Bartramiopsis lascuriae. Here in Washington State, this is a critically imperiled species, and we are at the only known location of where it grows.
He's a trained bryologist doing research at Western Washington University. His obsession with moss has him bushwhacking through mountain rainforests by day and analyzing specimens under the microscope by night, because he has a hunch that these rare mosses are trying to tell us something, and if he can find enough of them, he might just be able to prove it. Miles and I have just met, and he's taking me on a tour of the most important rare mosses that he's found so far. It took him months of trips out here to find these locations.
So where are we headed today?
That's Big Four behind us, and we are headed up to the base of Big Four.
One of the reasons why Miles searches in the Big Four area is that it has a remarkable microclimate. While the nearest town, just a few miles down the road, gets around 50 inches of rain per year, the Big Four area gets around 140 inches of rain per year. That's more than some rainforests, and that north face of Big Four juts 4,000 feet above ground level. It casts such a powerful shadow. For a lot of the year, the areas in front of it never see the sun. And that is part of the reason why there are ice caves at the base, and part of the reason why there are so many species of moss that live there.
That constant cooling and shading reduces the amount of evaporation from the area, and so it kind of retains kind of a constant moisture regime. It stays wet throughout a lot of the day.
Moss need to grow in wet places because they don't have roots to suck up water from the soil. Instead, they have to absorb water from their environment through what's essentially their skin. Our window for finding mosses in this valley is rapidly ending, and we knew it was important to get out here fast. The next big storm will likely close the road and bury everything here in snow until next summer. On our way over, he stopped to show me something called a liverwort. Liverworts are really similar to mosses, but they're not exactly the same.
This is a cool one because you can actually taste it to determine which species it is.
What does it taste like?
Parrellas generally have kind of a, I don't know, like a botanical flavor, but Parrella roellii is very spicy, and Parrella cordiana is a little less spicy, and Parrella navicularis, which is what this is not spicy. How would you describe that?
Oh, it's like rosemary.
Yeah, Parrella roellii on my eggs as a garnish.
The caves are a popular destination for tourists, but just beyond the caves are some of the rarest and most sensitive mosses in the state.
Oh, is this the spot?
This is Oedipodium, Zach. It's an exciting little one. Yeah. Careful of that rock. I don't know if that's moving at all. Ooh. Yeah. A little slick. I'm glad I found it, and it's really hard. It's right in here.
This moss Oedipodium is not just rare here in Washington, but it's rare everywhere that it's found. I'm now on a short list of people who've actually seen this moss growing in the wild.
We are at one of the few spots. We're the southernmost spot in North America for where it grows.
Up next was a tougher objective, a relic hidden in a waterfall cave.
There's a creek that's coming down out of the mountains over there. And over there is the species called Certomnium hymenolophoides. I found it about a year ago in a side canyon, actually close to here. And then this summer, I wondered if it was behind that waterfall over there. And sure enough, I went over and found it. Yeah, let's go what's up here. This is a nice big Parrella liverwort, Parrella navicularis. Ah, a little spicy. Maybe it's cordiana. Yeah. Oh, that's roellii.
Ooh, let me taste.
That's acrid. You'll.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. Yo,
Yeah,
that is
latent.
spicy,
It's latent.
dude. That is actually spicy. My tongue, like. So up there behind that water, that's where the relic is.
water smacks the ground, over centuries it excavates a cave behind itself with the perfect cool, moist conditions for this relic.
Oh my goodness, it's so icy. That is so wow.
I think water from these falls is condensing on these twigs and grasses and then freezing, creating these almost tentacle-like structures. Totally wild. Immediately, Miles got to work, using a probe to test the water for calcium. Your hair might not like hard water, but this moss species loves it. It's a hard moss to find, but testing the water helps him narrow down his search areas.
We're here up the Perry Creek drainage in a side canyon right behind a waterfall. Now, what's interesting and special about this spot is that it is home to this little tiny moss. So this little tiny moss is called Certomnium hymenolophoides. And it's the only known location of it within 500 miles of here, and it's new for Washington State.
This species is actually common in the Arctic, but Miles was the first person to find it all the way down here in Washington State. When I looked up its range maps, Washington wasn't even included, which means most experts don't even know it's here. So what's this mostly Arctic species doing down here?
To answer that question, let's set the scene. It's 20,000 years ago, and where the Space Needle is today is covered in about 3,000 feet of ice. Any living thing that can has migrated south, and any living thing that can't, well, they've either died out or retreated to small ice-free zones, like the wind-blasted tops of mountains that have just barely kept their chin up above the ice, seen here in Antarctica, where the ice ages never actually ended. These places where life took refuge are known as refugia. And like oases in the desert, life was able to hang on in these places through some of the harshest conditions imaginable. Miles has been working with leading experts to reconstruct where the ice would have been during this time, and what they've determined is that small sections of mountain valleys, like the place we were just exploring, actually were ice-free. In these places in modern times, we find strange, isolated species that normally grow in much colder, icier climates, like up north in the Arctic or on the tops of mountains. Surrounded by a barren wasteland, these sections of Mountain Valley could have been the home for a whole community of plants and even animals.
So how does Miles use rare mosses to prove that the Big Four area was one of these refugia? The best evidence would be finding organisms from this ancient ecosystem that are still here. But the problem is,
most of them would have left after the ice melted, but the moss we were just looking at couldn't have. That's because it doesn't send out spores on the wind to reproduce like other mosses. A spore on the wind can travel an immense distance. Instead, the way it reproduces is little pieces of it called vegetative propagules break off and then start growing all on their own, carried by gravity. And as you can imagine, they don't get far. And so as a result, we may be looking at the approximate location that this moss was growing 20,000 years ago. There are no more woolly mammoths, no more saber-toothed tigers. It may be that all that remains of this unique Ice Age community is this moss.
and this species in particular, Certomnium, it's a known indicator of Ice Age refugia around North America. So when Miles found this tiny plant growing in this tiny crack behind the waterfall, it was huge for his research.
I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I didn't recognize it. There's a lot of times where you don't know what it is, but you're certain that you don't recognize this at all. That means something. So I got excited about that. Went back to the university. I talked to some other people. They're like, oh, that thing looks like Certomnium. You should look into that genus. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. And then I looked into it. Sure enough, took some photos, got some more confirmation, and it hit me a few days later that, okay, this is something that's likely been in place since the last glaciation, and that's really cool. That's what I'm looking for.
To find these mosses, Miles goes out looking in the mountains almost every week during the season, and with that season coming to a close, I asked him, could we go somewhere that he'd never been to before and do one final hunt?
I love these cold, clear mornings. Like, forest is so inviting. You just want to go in there and check stuff out. That looks nice up there.
Oh my goodness,
It's hard to separate yourself from the desire to climb the rocks.
yeah, totally.
I'm looking for a big boulder field against a cliff. I think we could try. Let's just get out of the car and look at this.
Okay.
Well, ideally, what I would like is just not as much of that small talus. I think we should continue going a little bit down. 32. Oh, coffee. This part of the valley here, it's been heavily logged and burned, I think, and so it's a bit more disturbed of habitat. So I'm like, I have my doubts.
Oh, that is interesting. So you look at the cliffside.
There might be something really great over there.
Oh, are you thinking?
Yeah, pull up to this.
Yeah.
Pull up there. That's what I'm looking at. I think we can get over there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's explore that area. Let's look at this for a second here. What I'm interested in is these gullies up, kind of parts of the cliff that protrude from the cliff base.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested in those kind of wet depressions back in there.
Oh, that looks cool.
Let's enter. Watch the splash here.
Ooh, could be slick.
Slick, yeah. Watch yourself. Maybe I go low.
This looks like another branch, but it's not. It gets really wrapped around you.
Yeah, it does. We want to go up that way.
That's not a hold.
Yeah, dude, I'm starting to get distracted in here. This here is Racematrium laniginosum. It loves growing on these talus fields on top of these boulders here. You'll notice there's like this kind of hoary or whitish appearance to it, and towards the end of the leaves, they are bleached white. They're called hyaline awns. And hyaline awns basically serve to collect dew. They're dew points for the moss.
Like arms kind of outstretched to catch the fog.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. I've gotten onto some like cliff bases doing this surveys for my master's where following a moss or something like that, trying to get up to it looks like a hotspot of diversity and kind of don't realize the terrain I'm walking through. But I've definitely gotten to spots where I'm on wet rock and down climbing is a little hairy, and I didn't realize I kind of climbed to get up to that spot. Like you're like focused on something and you're just kind of like a dog running up to it, and then you realize you're like, oh shit.
So that's where we're heading. We're gonna try to go up on the other side of the cliff.
You have to have a meticulous eye. It's kind of hard having a meticulous eye when you're going up through terrain like this. You're kind of walking along a wall of continuous diversity. It's like kind of like you're at the sushi restaurants and you see like good ones come along, or you just kind of waiting for something to happen. Oedipodium, dude.
What?
Yeah. This is, yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we have it all. This is great. We came to a, holy shit. No, it's all up in here. Oh, dude, this is the spot. This is the third location of Oedipodium for the state. It's really rare.
Holy
It's really rare, again, throughout its global distribution like we talked about earlier. But if we look hard enough, oh God, it's so thick in here. This is amazing. I've never seen it actually this thick. So you can see the gemme all over in here. God, this is cool. This is exciting. Yeah, Oedipodium again is like just very rare. It's like not often accounted anywhere really in the world.
Oedipodium is that first moss that we found, the really rare one. Unlike some other rare mosses that are hard to distinguish, even a total amateur like me can instantly identify Oedipodium. So if there were a lot of it out there, it would have been found already, making it truly bizarre to Miles and I that we found it.
But yeah, this is great. This is it all in here. It's like, and it is kind of interesting. It looks like Oedipodium for the most part is restricted to these kind of veins where the water courses probably receives sheet drainage is my guess.
Drainage, like water
Coming
falls there and then just kind of like comes down here and then doesn't evaporate very quickly because it's shaded by all these things that don't have leaves anymore.
Yep. I don't see any sporophytes. I'll just collect this little chunk here. I want to be fairly discreet with how I collect because there's not a ton of it here. Don't want to affect the population too much. Yeah, so I'll just fold it up.
So we managed to catalog the third location of Oedipodium in the state. Is that right?
Yep.
And then we continued up here to see if we could find more, and it's totally too dry here.
Then, on our way down, Miles saw something strange out of the corner of his eye, and he popped it in his pocket, not thinking much of it. But he'd be in for a big surprise when he got home.
We were coming down from this bushwhack, going alongside the cliff band, kind of going through some tricky terrain, sliding rocks, and we were trying to keep a distance from each other. I was kind of doing what I normally do when I'm in kind of hairy sites where there's kind of a risk of injury or slipping. If I do find something that's of interest, I'll just take it, pluck it, put it in my pocket, and remember to key it out later. Came back here, threw it underneath this scope, and I immediately knew what it was.
Miles is now the first person to have ever found this species growing in Washington state.
It's a new record for Washington state. It is a species that is mostly boreal to Arctic distribution, but anomalously it is growing down around 2,000 feet in the Barlow Pass area. We found it in close proximity to Oedipodium, which is also a very, very rare bryophyte, also of kind of more northern distribution. It's very interesting. Was it a coincidence? I don't know, maybe, or was it in fact that this place where it inhabits is a remnant from an ice-free time?
How often does that happen for bryologists in general and for you to find a new species for your state?
It doesn't happen often, so it's a pretty exciting moment when that happens. It's exciting that I'm the first one to collect it. It's exciting that we have a new record of this liverwort for Washington state, and it's exciting to be a part of the development of bryology in Washington state as well.
Big shifts in climate like ice ages or global warming cause swaths of species to go extinct. And if Miles is right that this place is an Ice Age refugium, it may become a place where modern species go to survive climate change.
As climate change forces species to move further north, say, that are more intolerant of a warming climate, these places that act as cold sinks might serve as a refuge for species today that can no longer deal with the effects of climate change.
If they were refuges then, they may well be refuges again.